I do want to start off with the Jay-Z blowback. I've seen that the Rock Nation, Jay-Z puppets in the media have like been dispatched. And I'm not going to lie to y'all, man. I see why they say that, me and Drake are funded by MAGA because y'all voice are very low. I don't think y'all at this point. I see where the jealousy comes from. I don't think these guys can set a narrative to save their life. So I kind of watched a couple people talk about Jay-Z and I was like, yeah, all right, anyway. But I do want to say this, because, I think a lot of people are a little bit confused. They're a little bit confused. They're confused and hurt. And I will say that because I see a lot of people reacting to me. They're confused and hurt. So Jay-Z, who we all know did a freestyle at the Roots picnic. I see a lot of people hurt on my opinion or my takeaway from the freestyle, right? If you didn't hear me break it down, I believe it's on YouTube, but I'll give you my overall thoughts. I thought this is the most aggressive I've ever seen Jay-Z rap. And I won't call him necessarily fully unhinged, but he didn't feel like he had that normal Jay-Z Hove swag that we're kind of used to. Seemed angry, but he did announce in an interview earlier he was angry this year. So, it's true to form. It's not being performative. However, what people are talking about, and, people hate when I kind of mention this, there's been no relevant hip-hop topics in the last 2.5 years unless it is centered around one person. I'm telling you, hip-hop is in an abysmal state. I think we're coming out of it. But the reality, no matter if you like it or not, there's nothing that has garnered any attention other than concentrating on one particular person, whether you like him, hate him. He's the common denominator of everything that becomes newsworthy for any amount of time. Jay-Z threw a lot of shots. Do I think Jay-Z was cloud chasing? No. I don't think Jay-Z was cloud chasing. There's part of hip-hop that look at Jay in a Michael Jordan sense. So they feel offended when you're not bowing on your knees. And half of them are getting paid by Jay-Z some way, somehow. So, he's like, they're puppets for him. But my opinion was that this was cool. I give it a light 7. This is light 7. It was cool. He got a couple shots off. He took shots at Kanye, Dame Dash, Oskino. He took shots at Drake, Nicki Minaj, and Tory Lanez. And I thought it was cool. Nothing to phone home about. And I'm going to be honest with you, with the exception of Tory Lanez, nothing to respond to by any of these rappers. I think Kanye's fighting a different fight. He doesn't need to respond to Jay-Z. But can Jay-Z say whatever he wants to say? Kanye has talked a lot of shit. It's okay. I don't even think Nicki should respond, even though I believe she will. And I think, if I was going to give her overall advice, she should. But she should respond on her time. There's a faction of hip-hop that actually thinks that, this slam poetry type of delivery requires niggas to be in the booth and they're on the clock. I beg to differ. It's not happening. We're in a different era. And I saw those mouthpieces for hip-hop and those type of people like, they were really excited again. I hear one guy, I won't even I won't even like dignify him with even naming him. He's like, yo, this freestyle has gotten people looking back up into Jay-Z's history. No one's doing that. It's not that serious. I'm sorry to tell you. There's not one Jay-Z song that's charting today. None. So the impact of it is that we got a cool 24 hours of media. But even today, which now feels like almost like we're going to 48 hours or whatever, this story will be definitely fucking gone after 72 hours. It'll be out of here, which if it's something real, it won't, right? We've seen like the battle lasted for 2 years. This shit will be a distant memory in a few days. I do think Nicki should respond with on her own time. Whenever she's dropping an album, that's when you respond. I'm actually glad that she didn't go to Twitter with some type of, energy-infused rant like, fuck you. Like, I'm glad she didn't do that. Whatever I do think she probably is going to respond. I think she should do it on her album. I think Drake should pay this guy dust. I think Kanye should ignore him. Kanye has bigger fish to fry. Kanye's fighting countries. This guy is obsessed with Twitter accounts and Grand Wizard chat nigga. I'm sorry to say. Like, I like, again, and I've seen some of the criticisms even of me. They're like, yo, how could you talk about Hove like that? He's a billionaire. Brother, I'm going to tell you exactly what just happened. And I know the 45-year-old plus audience that is desperate for this to be a moment. Now they're tweeting at me like, tell your guy to come out and play. He been baiting Ho. Tell him to come out and play. No, he's not. He's not coming out to play ball with senior citizens. That's not happening. This is the part of the All-Star game where you have LeBron, you have Vince Carter, you have the greatest dunkers. They're dunking from the free throw line. And then all of a sudden, they say right before we announce like the All-Stars or the people in the dunk contest, could we all salute Bill Russell? And he comes out with a cane and we say he's one of the greatest. He's good. We love him. Without him, we wouldn't have had the league we had now. And after we usher him to the handicap seating that's in every fucking arena, we actually get to the athletes that are current who are jumping from the free throw line. Okay? Not the guy that's just like, not that guy. It's okay. So for the people who love Jay-Z, I do want to apologize to you. I shouldn't step on the moment for us to acknowledge someone who historically, you know why? You see the songs that bump today? They're 25 years old. They're a quarter century. We should show Jay some respect. But please, miss me with this whole thing of thinking the guy who basically is the senior citizen and we haven't seen this guy really play a full game of basketball in years could compete with the current MVP. He's not playing Wemby, okay? He's not playing Wemby. We love Hakeem Olajuwon, but he's not rocking versus Wemby. It's like, you know what? You seeing Jay-Z and the few people he brought on stage, it was like watching Shaq and Charles Barkley like mess around on TNT. Yes, made us feel good, but that's about it. When you guys are done with the nostalgic moment, we're going to bring you back to current day hip hop. And today in the hip hop, we're only talking about Iceman. Okay? Iceman. We're not talking about Def Jam slam poetry. We're not talking about that. We're talking about that Iceman. So I shouldn't have shitted on the entire memory and the entire, life story of some of these people who have enjoyed Jay-Z. Jay-Z's he's a very legendary artist. But that era is done. Unfortunately, it's done. And anyone who believes that Drake should entertain him, that's basically like saying that Wemby should play a one-on-one with Charles Barkley or Shaq. With all due respect, in his heyday, maybe. But at this point, you'd be just Shaq and a fool. All right? So anyway, for the people who have been enjoying it, good for y'all. However, we'll keep it moving. There are still a few questions. I know Skino did respond. I think we haven't seen responses from anybody else. That's also to tell you the truth, y'all. Back in the day, and this is for the nostalgic crowd. Back in the day, niggas were thirsty. Like, people would, like, think about the game back in, like, 2006 or whatever. When the very thought that Jay-Z was thinking about him, that nigga went in the booth trying to rap all type of shit. Like, you could tell it was so exciting that Jay-Z was even thinking about him. But I'm trying to tell y'all, that was 20 years ago. Jay-Z just did this shit. Not one person even put up a Instagram post responding to this nigga. They just don't care. They just don't care. I'm sorry. So, unfortunately, I think the crowd that likes him have to also acknowledge that while I do think y'all should enjoy the nostalgia and, Jay did some of the things they did well. By the way, he did a good performance. I watched the whole thing. We got to just be cognizant. This just no longer is his time. I'm sorry to tell you, it's no longer his time. It's the equivalent of Shaq hopping back on the court right now. Just not your time anymore, buddy. It's okay. We could still give you praises. Now, I still think part of this is because of Drake passing those records. And I've seen the propaganda about that too. Oh my God. Drake fans, the Aubrey's Angels, they only want to talk about numbers. Nobody wants to talk about numbers now. because Drake has broken them all. But years ago, niggas was tattooing Jay-Z's phrase, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. I even heard one podcaster said, numbers do lie. So numbers weren't lying until Drake started winning. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Did y'all hear though? Said numbers don't matter. The numbers do lie. Okay. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. So, that's just the basic point. Who else? So I don't think Ye's gonna respond. I think if Nicki responds, she should do it on her album. I'm gonna be honest with you. I hate to pull the reverse Charlemagne on them. I don't think Drake is sitting back thinking about a rapper who's not in his prime anymore. I think Drake is he's above this. I think Drake is sitting back thinking about the billion he's about to get. I think that's what he's doing. But who knows? I don't know. What else? Who else was this? Eskino was supposed to respond. Nicki shouldn't. Ye just got too much positive stuff going on. Because we know when Ye responds, Ye's going to respond in a way that you're going to shut up. And that's usually a meltdown. And Ye melting down right now is not a good idea. Who else? Yeah, that's pretty much the main subjects, right? That's the main subjects. We don't, like, Busby's not going to respond. He's like a lawyer. Jaguar Wright, I could see her coming out doing an interview, but do we really care that much? Anyway. Oh, Dame Dash. Well, I mean, this is given, I'm not going to lie, the next Dame Dash interview is going platinum, like for real. Dame Dash might as well put his next interview on DSPs. The whole thing with Dame Dash and Jay is that Dame Dash has been talking about a 20-year-old issue, that actually 25-year-old issue where people are like, bro, hang it up. And then they keep saying to him, you're the only one talking about it. Jay don't say nothing. Well, Jay finally said something. So his next interview is fresh off of Jay response. He's dropping $1 million. But for the relevant rappers, the rappers who are still on the court, focus on the playoffs, focus on the finals, you can't be beefing with Shaquille O'Neal. He's a legend, but he's not an active player, okay? That's just the reality of it, all right? And if you're delusional enough to think that Jay-Z is, like, in the mix with these guys, cut it out. Cut it out. You're being delusional, okay? It's okay. It's okay. All right.